morning. Good morning, everyone. It was a little bit of a loud clang that time. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy, and myriad other things that shall go unmentioned. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Hmm, it's good. It's not the most tastiest, but it's a spot. Today is here we go. Say it with me. It is Friday! Woo! Chair dance, jazz hands. Very important to celebrate appropriately. Whether you get tomorrow off or not, enjoy your Friday. September 10th, 2021. Here we are. So, I hope you all are feeling good about where you are in the week and in the month. I don't know about where you are, but it has been glorious weather here in Santa Fe. Absolutely gorgeous. Uh, Autumnal weather is just amazing with the blue skies, and in the shade it's a little on the cool side, and then you get out in the sun and the sun's all melty golden warm. We've been having warm weather too because the monsoons have abated. They said they might come back still, but for now we're not getting rain every day anymore. And we actually haven't gotten rain in like a week, back to desert status. And we've been getting up into like the upper 80s. I'm noticing that there is a cluster of grapes in the lilac, which is somewhat incongruous. Should get a photo of that. It's because the grapevine has reached its way over, and clambered through the lilac bush. But it's kind of funny to see a cluster of grapes hanging off of a lilac bush. Some kinky crossbreeding going on here in the secret garden. I suppose in a natural world, grapes and lilac. No, that's not true. They have both grapevines and lilacs in France, so I take it all back. They are not kinky cousins, but rather longtime companions. Remember when longtime companion was a thing? You probably only remember that if you're of a certain age, but for those of you who are too young to remember, when the AIDS epidemic was raging, in the 80s, mainly in the 80s, uh, obituaries I mean, it was a different era, right? It would not, newspapers would not acknowledge homosexual spouses, lovers, as that. So they would say he was survived by his longtime companion, Paul, such and so. And longtime companion was code for gay, male or female. And it kind of, I think, got so closely tied with the AIDS epidemic and with, that refusal, that absolute refusal to see what was going on, that, yeah, I think it left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Nobody uses it anymore. I think nobody wanted to use it then. I seem to recall that there was a movie called Longtime Companion. So let's see. Dragon's Daughter and the Winter Mage is coming along. I got another 3,500 words yesterday. It did take me until 5:30. I wasn't writing that whole time because I went off to writer coffee. I didn't get any words before writer coffee, which I was sad about. But I was like, I'd even made a choice. I was like, okay, well, I'll record the podcast, but I'm not going to upload the podcast because I want to get some words before I go to writer coffee. And then I didn't have time to do either. But I did leave writer coffee at 10:15, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And then it just took me a little while to eke it all out. And I thought I was going to stop. I hit one of my milestones where I could have stopped, and I was still feeling pretty good and feeling like the scene was flowing. So um, I paused to answer some Sefwa emails because I was feeling like I was being remiss. And then I went back and did a final. I got like my last 700 words in the final in 53 minutes. So it was not fast, but it's coming along. I think, knock on wood, cross our fingers, we should make it. Um, I do have a weird thing with Kobo. So, you guys, just in case anyone who's been waiting for this book is listening to this podcast, wondering what the hell happened, besides a hair falling across my face and into my eyes. There we go. So, oh, best beloved, if you've been listening for a while, you know that I changed the release date on the pre order of Dragon's Daughter from September 10th, today, to September 24th. Not today. Obviously, today was not going to work. It was a good call. Um, I never actually believed today was going to work. That was me making a mistake in my math. Uh, I won't go into the reasons why I thought it was the 10th, but like when I set up the pre order date, I just had a brain fart. I did it wrong. Um, I didn't even do the math wrong. I just calculated it incorrectly. If that makes sense. It totally makes sense in my brain. So I had to correct the error. And that's why I haven't been able to push the pre order date back any more than this, because I already did it once and Amazon won't let you do it more than once unless you have like, unless you call them and plead emergency. And I wanted to save that because they'll only let you do that once. So I went in and changed it on the other all the other platforms where I had the pre-order set up, including Kobo. And on Kobo, I changed it. Well, let me tell it to you in order. So I changed on Kobo. And then like a week ago, I get an email from Kobo saying, your release date is September 10th. Make sure to have your book uploaded. They all send these. And I replied to, and they said, if you have questions or issues, please reply to this email. So I replied to that email and I said, no, I changed the pre order date to September 24th. And I went into the Kobo dashboard and I looked and I changed it to September 24th. And I was like, it's not going to be ready. I changed it to September 24th. And please let me know if there's something else I need to do. So then, like a day later, I mean, it was not an autoresponder by any stretch. So, like a day later, I get a reply from Kobo saying, "We are thank you for contacting us, and we are working as hard as we can to serve you, and we will reply to your email soon." And that's it. Acceptance. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it must have been like an artifact, like it was like the auto emails were set up when I set the original pre-order date, and it's gonna be fine. So yesterday afternoon, morning, even well, midday, I get an email from Kobo saying, congratulations, your book is now live in our store, because Kobo also sells to like Australia, who, and they're in the future. And anyone who pre ordered your book now has it. And I'm like, I hope fucking not, because Kobo makes you upload grape. Uh, Kobo does not make you upload grapes. I found a grape. You can't do what they call an assetless pre-order. You have to put a manuscript in there. So I put Golden Griffin in there as a placeholder. So if you if you pre-ordered on Kobo, which I can't tell, Kobo If Kobo shows me pre-orders, I haven't found it. So if you did pre-order on Kobo and you got Golden Griffin instead of Dragon's Daughter, I'm really sorry. I'm still writing Dragon's Daughter. It ain't done yet, people. Um, I went back into Kobo dashboard and I found that there was a second place, unlike the last page where it still said September 10th, and I changed it to September 24th. So I don't know if that hauled it back in time. I'm thinking for those of you living in the future, it probably didn't. Um, Sorry, I'm really sorry. Uh, I I have no excuse. I just like didn't figure out that they had the date in two different places. Um, so hopefully it's not that many of you. And if you did get Golden Griffin, um, please don't go complain to Kobo and tell them that I suck, because Kobo will be annoyed with me. I mean, I know I suck. If you want to email me and tell me personally that I suck, that would be fine. But yeah, September 24th. You'll get the actual book. In the meanwhile, you could reread Golden Griffin. I mean, it's a nice book, right? How's your day going? I actually wasn't even stressed. It was just like, so it goes. So it goes. Um, it's not like, and it's not fair, but there's not nearly so many sales on Kobo as on Amazon, and Kobo isn't nearly as vengeful as Amazon. So if it had to happen somewhere, it's better to have it happen on Kobo than on Amazon. Which, yeah, isn't fair, but I will. I pledge to do better in the future. I was gonna like salute, but I think pledge is here, right? Uh, so the joys of self-publishing. Every once in a while, you make a mistake. I When I had my day job, I managed accounts worth uh, a lot of money, projects, like billing and tracking people's work on it and everything. And I remember this one time, and it was towards the end of when I was working. And so I felt particularly bad because I knew I didn't have a good attitude and I wasn't doing as good of a job as I had been. And I discovered that I had made an error. And David is coming. I had to go assist. So, our cat Jackson, many of you are familiar with Jackson from his hordes of screaming fans on the internet. Jackson likes to go sleep in the passenger footwell of the Jag when it's parked in the garage. It's like his little personal den. And if you open the garage door, the big garage door, while he's in there, he will go bolting out and run out to the road and get in the culvert until he can be lured out with an appropriately tempting snack, which can take quite a lot of time. So, to prevent this eventuality, I have to go in and just pet him and keep a hand on him while David gets his car out so that he can leave. So, David's gone now, and the putty is still contained, happily snoozing in his den. I think it's so funny that he loves that spot. So, anyway, what I was saying was, I remember this horrible, horrible sensation because I was again. What is this with me and math? It's just that you can occasionally make errors. I always think about the poor engineers who like got uh, off by one decimal point in their conversion and crashed the lander into Mars. It's the great cautionary tale. So easy to do. So anyway, I figured out that I had made a mistake in figuring out how much money was left in a project, and I had gone over by about $17,000. And I mean, granted, it was a project that was, I don't know, it was like a million or two. And I just had forgotten to calculate in one of the overhead percentages. And I was over by $17,000. It was the end of the project. And I was just so mad at myself and, sick, that sick feeling when you realize you've made a mistake like that. And the thing was, is that this was a project for a gal in, we were doing work for EPA. And so this was like a sub project for a gal in one EPA region. And she had put it through the overall umbrella of of a project manager in a different EPA region because it was just easier for them to work the money that way. Well, the gal that the project was actually for was already not very happy with me. We'd told her from the beginning, I mean, this is going into the weeds, but we'd told her from the beginning that it wasn't going to be enough money to do what they wanted to do. We'd also said they had one person on their side who wanted to work on it, and he was this very pedantic guy who always slowed things down. And we told her from the beginning, you're just going to have to keep him out of our hair because he's going to cost a lot of hours that we don't have. And that didn't happen. I mean, how, if you've ever managed a project, you know how these things go. Well, so I went to David and I'm like, I figured out that I made the mistake and I'm the only one who knows about it right now. Um, I said, should I just keep quiet and not tell anyone and I hope it doesn't get discovered? And he's like, and he said, is that likely? I said, nah, it's possible. You know, one can always dream. And he said, no. He said, I would just go to the overall project manager and explain what happened. And so that was such a hard phone call to make. And called her up and we were friendly, so that helped. And I fessed up and I told her what happened. And she said, well, how much money is it? And I told her, and she said, oh, no problem. I can cover that from, I'll just pull some money from over here and I can cover it. No worries. And that was done. And it was like the rewards of confessing. So that just goes to say, it's like, that's the thing about mistakes is we all make them. That's the nature of the mistake, right? And you just have to own up to it, deal with it. And even though you get that sick feeling about having made the mistake. So if you're upset with me about your the Kobo mix-up, I do apologize. Uh, I'll make it up to you. I'll, let me know. Contact me through the website form, and we'll work something out. But Dragon's Daughter definitely nobody has it. Well, nobody except for Dorinda Jones, and she's reading like it as I finish it every day. And she's very funny because she's like, deep breaths. I have to know what comes next. So that's good. She's a wonderful cheerleader that way. So on that note, I'm going to go in and get this posted and be ready to work. Another 3,500 words today, and I get to take the weekend off. Yay. I did finish Navigating the Stars that I talked about yesterday on the podcast. Very satisfying ending. I've started the second book, which is like chasing ghosts, something like that. Book 2 in Sentinels of the Galaxy. So I may just binge the rest of the trilogy this weekend. Wouldn't that be nice? And I'm hoping to go for a long bike ride. I know this stuff. You guys are riveted. I also have to finish some business stuff. But all right, I will remind you all that First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts that you love at frolic.media/podcasts. And I will talk to you all on Monday. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I almost managed to sign off without sneezing. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, whatever it is that you do with your weekends. Binge reading, bike riding, working, or all of these things. You all take care. Bye bye.